Dear Igor, I am curious about the relationship between apology and forgiveness. A dear friend wronged me some time ago, and I had a very difficult time finding forgiveness for her. I meditated and prayed for months to find forgiveness, and it would not come to me. It was only after she offered a sincere apology that forgiveness began to come. Question: what is the role of apology in finding forgiveness? From a higher perspective, what is actually happening during forgiveness and during an apology? I would like to be able to find forgiveness on my own and not need an apology or self-recognition from someone else. Why is this so difficult?
Well, it's rather simple, and I bet you know the answer deep down. It's simply a sense of pride and nothing else really. Or if you don't like the term pride, it's just simply this superimposition of that ego. It's the superimposition of that temporal identity. Because apology here comes as the gratification of that with which the ego, the pride, cannot deal with on its own. So the apology kind of temporarily creates that equilibrium. But make no mistake, and this is where you need to really look into, is that as a sadhaka, you have to understand that opportunities are always given to encounter our limitations. And that's what you have encountered, as simple as that. You have encountered the limitation where you found it very difficult to forgive. And then the remedy came, you see? The remedy came in the form of an apology. And that immediately soothed the conflict. From the human perspective, of course, an apology is a lovely thing to do. Something is done, something wrong to someone, it only goes without saying that an apology will go a long way. Simple manners, good manners. I've done something wrong to you, and if I done that unawareingly, I apologize. Or if I done that being fully aware, then I apologize even more. And it's easy to forgive. But beneath that, something else. Beneath that, there is also, you need to understand and you need to find the strength for you to acknowledge that that apology only temporarily conceals what otherwise doesn't give us a place to rest. And that is the place where we feel that somehow we've been done, or some certain injustice has been done to us, right? Because you say here, dear friend wronged me some time ago. You see, you wronged me some time ago. A dear friend wronged me some time ago. A dear friend wronged me some time ago. If we sit with that, and we ponder on that, it's the whole structure of the language within the brain already solidifying this identity. This is what has been spoken earlier. This is where we refuse to be the witness, and we already, that someone done us wrong. Let me rephrase it for a moment. Let us rephrase it for a moment. Just rephrase it. A dear friend happened to do something which was perceived by me as wrong some time ago. See, already has different flavor to it. Less certainty in the way we feel wrong. at least less certainty that that is indeed was wrong, because the wrong is on our perspective. We don't know what was going on the perspective of that friend. Okay, I don't know the details. Nobody knows the details. Only you know the details. Perhaps it's really wrong and it's downright wrong. That's beside the point. You know that saying, don't kill the postman for delivering the news. You know, like in old good days, in inverted commas, when the messenger comes from one country to another to deliver the message that they are at war or something, to deliver that, to send message back, they will just cut the guy's head off and send it in a casket. Why would that act? Why such cruel act? Why would they do that? Well, because they cannot cut the head of the ruler just yet. Maybe they will never be able to cut the head of the ruler. So they have to deal with cutting the head of the messenger. The messenger just came and maybe even bow in respect that, look, my ruler sent me here on a mission, that he or she is dissatisfied with the way you conduct your affairs, therefore we are in an open conflict. Right, well, come here, dear. Whoosh, and your head is off. And send it back to this guy, let him know who is he dealing with. We are not afraid. That's why don't kill the postman for delivering the news. Everyone delivers us something here. That is what I want to direct your attention here. And it's the bitter pill. It's the bitter pill of the indifferent truth. The truth is indifferent whether you are right or I'm right. Ultimate truth doesn't give a hoot of what is happening, because it's the local perspective. We don't know what is being at play. This is very important to remember. In all circumstances, when this becomes your second nature, you're a free man. You're a free man because this no longer obstructs and obscures the direct apprehension that essentially there is no such entity as you or me. There is no such entity as you or me. It is, as it were, not done by different agents. There is no this agency that is relevant to this realm, and there is another agency. So therefore, I would respond to you to this question, that the formulation of the question itself is that, dear Igor, I'm curious about the relationship between apology and forgiveness. From the perspective of the truth, ultimate truth, there are no relationship between apology and forgiveness. Forgiveness independently stands already on the account that no one harms and no one hurts anyone. That's where the true forgiveness comes from. Otherwise, it's a deal. It's a deal. Okay, ego is appeased. And when it's appeased, it's easier to forgive. And the deal is struck there and then. So that's all where I want to draw your attention for today. So that remember that apology and forgiveness certainly have their role and play in the horizontal plane of human affairs. But as a sadhak, you're no longer meant to be drowned in these horizontal planes. It's better to drown in the vertical realm of your being, where forgiveness is independent quality, magnanimity of your soul, magnanimity, the wisdom that rises, that no one harms anyone. That's what the play of consciousness is. That's what the play, and you don't know who is given what role to play. Of course, it cannot be taught in school because there will be a chaos. But in the Online Darshan, we'll be lying to ourselves if we will start creating these fantasies that there is indeed a relationship between apology and forgiveness. There are none. Apology is an apology and forgiveness is forgiveness. One should not precede the other. They stand independently. Who knows? Maybe apology should come from yourself, to apologize for not having enough forgiveness in the first place, and work on that level. Whatever comes from another person should not be your concern. That is more mature, more uncompromising perspective. Otherwise, we will always try to look for a possibility, for a cop-out. You can't afford to do that. You have to face this sooner or later. And yes, indeed, you say here, your last question here is, why is this so difficult? In other words, you're stating, why is it so difficult to have forgiveness unless there is an apology? See? Because that self-recognition, right? That need for an apology or self-recognition is essentially, that's what ego is begging for. That's what that pseudo-identity is begging for, because that is regarding it. It's regarding it and justifying its existence. Anything that threatens its existence is uncomfortable, unsettling. And that's why I said pride first, because pride it's hurt ego. Because even when ego is still intact, but it's appeased, appeased. In other words, it doesn't have points where it can be hurt. Not entirely egoless, but the ego no longer hurt. And pride is that what hurts the ego more than anything. And there is a pact, of course. Remember, there is a pact. Therefore, discard. Don't wait for an apology. Try to find forgiveness in your heart on the account is that there is no doership. There is no giver or receiver. No giver and receiver. Someone gave you smile and joy. Someone gave you misery. Still there's no giver and receiver. That's should be known in your heart. And as Rabindranath Tagore said, nothing is eternal, know that and love. Nothing is eternal, know that and love. A beautiful verse. So also nothing is as we consider it to be. Therefore, we have to find that in ourselves. Forgiveness has to come on its own. Because when apology comes, maybe an opportunity has been weakened. So bow your head and say thank you for an apology. But then ask your heart and apologize to yourself on your own behalf for not having forked it out itself on your own, and move on until the next test.